It's no. Because following on from consider the possibility of healthy boundaries, no is a complete sentence, is one of my very favourite expressions.
Oh, I find that really difficult.
I know, and I've written here, in case you did, never apologise, never explain. I have no idea where that famous expression comes from, but no is a complete sentence.
Welcome to Own It, Your Business and Your Life, with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Okay, so here we are, back again this week. How are you, Judith?
I'm okay, Nicola. I'm on my third week of my holidays in August, which is quite exciting. Despite that, I spoke to a new client on Monday. Speaking to a potential new client is one of the best things I ever do. I'll tell you why. It's like when you go on a brilliant first date, and you go home that night and you think, oh, God, that's it. I've fallen hopelessly in love and I've only met him once. Anyway, what I do is I gave this woman on Monday, we got on like a house on fire, and I gave her 6 brilliant ideas in an hour. And I really love those sessions. She's got to go off now and do a lot of graph, but she's actually inspired to do it and she feels understood. And I just think those sessions, when you talk to somebody that's not spoken to a mentor before and they've been trying to do it all by themselves, they don't really know what they're doing, they're getting a bit foggy. And, it was like bang, 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 bang. These 6 brilliant ideas came out. I don't think I overwhelmed her. She's a very intelligent woman. And those are just my favourite things, even on my holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had a client session yesterday with someone, and I gave her, she said, what next then? And I told her what next, and she did look a little daunted by the end of it, but I said, look, just, don't think about all that you have to do, just think about the next thing to move this forward. I said, if it works, within 2 weeks, you'll have a brand new product out of something that you've already done most of the work on, and you'll be able to launch it to your list and make a load of money. And she was like, she perked up visibly at that point. But up until then, she looked a bit tired, I must say.
Anything else about your week?
Well, I've just waved off my ex-husband and my son, Nelson and Irving, to Turkey, which is a bit of a war zone, but I don't think they're going anywhere near where they're doing the bombing. They're going on an activity holiday, a boys' activity holiday. They're going to do all the cycling, snorkeling, zip lining, all that stuff that the girls never want to do. And good luck to them.
I've been on holiday to Turkey twice. It is miles away from the bombing. It's absolutely one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Mediterranean coast of Turkey, lovely.
Yeah, I keep hearing how gorgeous it is. That's amazing.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is Irving's girlfriend, Jo, who was also at this dinner last night, she just got back from 3 weeks activity holidaying in South America with her daughter. I can't think of anything worse myself.
No, me neither. No. Activity for us is all in the fingers, isn't it?
Yeah, but let me have a little rant though because I'm sitting here today waiting for the cooker repairman. There was an incident with the cooker when I was away at one point, and I had to take out some insurance to get it fixed.
I do. This cooker runs and runs.
I know, but you know that then the boy came and cleaned it, and I don't know, but he managed to make the bottom half of it not work again.
Yes, yeah.
Well, it's taken me a long time to get round to doing this, but booking someone to come. Weeks and weeks. In fact, we've been trying to cook everything in the top oven, which is tiny. But I finally did it, and they said, "Oh, we can come tomorrow." And I said, "Marvellous." I said, "When are you going to come?" They said, "Oh, between 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m." I said, can't we narrow it down a little bit more than that? Because I do have some calls tomorrow. So if the door goes, I may well have to let the cooker repairman in, and we'll have to take a little 10-minute break or something. But what bad business is that? 7:30. I mean, for people who work, that's impossible, isn't it?
I think in this day and age, it's absolutely ridiculous, to be honest, because everybody is mobile connected up the yin-yang. Why on earth they have to give you a 12-hour slot? I do not know.
I mean, it's just crazy. I can't go out the house. I had to be up before 7 o'clock to get showered up in case he arrived, dead on 7:30. It's just a ridiculous way to do business. I'm jolly cross about it.
Yes, I think you should be.
So what's fueled your fire this week then?
Well, last week I wrote a newsletter which was shared very widely on Facebook, particularly by two women with large and relevant followings, which got me a clutch of new sign-ups to my newsletter, which was lovely. But something happened for the first time ever, which was even better. You know that box on your Facebook page where you can get people to do things like sign up, promote. You can get a call to action. The relatively new call to action button. I've got sign up on there. And on this occasion, it was like I got my first 2 ever sign-ups from my Facebook page. So because it was shared on Facebook, people went to my Facebook page to have a look and signed up to my newsletter from there.
So your call to action button on your Facebook page, have you got it going to your email opt-in page then?
Got it. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so. Classic.
Well, first of all, in the right-hand side, it says sign-ups to, which is why I know it's happened. So that was my intention to have it going to my sign-up page. And 2 people seem to have signed up via it. So
it seems to be working.
Yeah.
Now, not many people have taken action on that call to action button on their Facebook page. So if you're listening, lovely reader, and you've got a Facebook page, go and see if that call to action button has appeared. And if so, hook it up to something.
Relatively new, isn't it? It's only about 2 or 3 months old.
Yeah, it's not. Well, that's not relatively. That's old news in my book.
Yeah, but you know how slow the rest of the world. So tell me what's fueled your fire.
Well, one of my heroes, Dan Norris, has released his second book called Content.
Yes, now so I knew about that because he got me to involve myself in some sort of promotional thing, but I couldn't get a free copy because that's only being delivered from Amazon, UK America, and Amazon US.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure you didn't? If you click through to the UK, you can't get it as well.
No, it's only available as a paperback in the UK and not free.
Oh.
Anyway, never mind. Carry on about Dan Norris.
Well, hang on. If you got involved in his Thunderclap promotion, which we ought to talk about at some point, then he will give you the free PDF. You just go and join his Content Machine group. But
I was in that. I might have come out of it.
Oh, well, if you came out of it, then you can't you need to get back into it quick. But anyway, it's brilliant. It's all about how to not just write content for content's sake, but how to write content that not only gives great value, but leads people to take the most wanted action you want them to do, which is sign up to your newsletter, obviously. So I'm halfway through it, and it's really getting me going on the whole point of blogging again, because I've been very spasmodic with blogging for the last couple of years.
Sorry, remind me what it's called. Content Machine.
Content Machine by Dan Norris.
Yeah. Okay. Did you get a free copy?
I did, yes. Well, I could share mine, couldn't I, with you? If you were involved in his Thunderclap, I'd be happy to share it.
I have Thunderclapped, yes.
Yeah. Now, Thunderclap, just for anyone who's wondering, is when you're releasing something and you want all the activity to happen on a specific day, which we know helps you get up the charts in Amazon and things, you can sign up for this thing called Thunderclap, which then enables you to promote the event of the release date to all of your friends and family and colleagues. And when the people like me share it, it shares to the Thunderclap. So, anyone who signs up and, I'm not explaining it very well at all, am I? But anyway, it makes everything happen on all your social media activity happens on one day, and that's called the Thunderclap.
Yeah.
Great name.
And I was invited 2 or 3 weeks ago to make a tweet that would go out on launch day, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. So it coordinates everyone's efforts without everyone having to be reminded all the time to do it on a certain day. It's very, very clever. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Okay.
Nice marketing technique. Dan is the guy, obviously, who wrote 7 Day Startup, which is the book that changed my life at Christmas and led me to start clicksandleads.com. So anything he does is good by me.
A word from our sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by clicksandleads.com. Clicksandleads.com believe in affordable traffic and leads for everyone. They'll set up your Facebook ad campaign, page likes, leads or remarketing, then they'll manage it for you. They'll even split test your ads and audiences to find the best performing ones. Game-changing marketing from clicksandleads.com.
What's our client challenge of the week then, Judith?
Well, it's expressed in my own terms as if it were my own challenge, and it's an extension of what we were talking about last week, which is at the root of it is boundaries. So my small business Big Magic group is now 18 months old, and on the 1st of September, which is a couple of weeks away, actually by the time this programme airs it'll be a couple of days away, but it goes up to £75 a month from £60 a month, £50 a month, I beg your pardon. So it's a 50% price increase. And what I do in August, when I have a price rise on the 1st of September, is I do a lot of promotional activities to make sure everybody knows. So it goes out in my newsletter and all the blog posts. It's going up on the 1st of September. And get in now before the 31st of August, or,
Yeah.
I've already received 2 requests to join after the 1st of September, but pay the old rate.
Well, that's a bit...
The answer, no, let me explain. The answer, obviously, is no. Because it's 18 months, I have to take care of my own needs. If you want it at the old rate, get in now. But I do appreciate people for asking. So again, we've covered this in previous weeks. If you don't ask, you don't get. Good on you for asking.
Yeah.
And I do offer them different thoughts in response. I say things like, I remind them about me taking care of my own needs, because I think that's a good business model for them. And I remind them about value versus price, for instance.
Yeah.
And I say things to them like, we all deserve to be paid well for good work, and remind them of that role modelling, as I've said. And, I've got more wriggle room with ideal clients. I'll tell you what I said to one of them in a minute. And I encourage the woo-woo people to do things like, well, you've got 3 weeks. It's set an intention to raise the money to afford it, whether at the 50 or the 75. And if you're supposed to do it, it'll come. I put the ball back in their court. Make the money you need to pay for it. And then I saw this little message yesterday on Facebook, which I think will speak to you and me and all of us, that says, consider the possibility of healthy boundaries without struggle. Consider the possibility of healthy boundaries without struggle. Unyielding, yet calm. Strong, yet kind. So what I'm trying to be in my responses is unyielding, but kind.
Yeah.
And one client she's in my big group, so she's basically saying, can I join in 2016 at the 2015 rates? And I've said, well, we'll discuss it in December. And I will try and find a way to work with that woman. And I appreciate her for asking. But the short answer is no, really.
Especially when you think what else those people are spending that 50 or 75 quid on.
Actually, in both of those examples, I know that they count the pennies very carefully. But it is a two-way street, isn't it? Which is, I do appreciate them for asking. And sometimes I would say yes, which is why I've said to the ideal client, let's wait till December and see where we are. Because if I can easily afford to give her a break, then I will, because she's a long-term and repeat client. And she's paid for a whole year in advance in the other group, and achieved a massive discount in so doing. But I know she had to borrow the money to do that. But, ideal clients, I think one looks to do a deal that suits both sides. I think that's the important thing. It's got to suit both sides. And so when clients ask me about this, somebody wants my special, but they want to pay for it in a way that's outside my terms, what's the answer? And I always say, does this meet my own needs?
Yeah.
So if they're offering me something that meets my own needs, fair enough. If they're not, then it's a no. It's got to be a no, hasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I'm so bad with this. I mean, I've got some clients that I end up doing more for because I want their campaign to work. So I end up doing little bits of development work in their lead pages account, for example.
Yes, let's go back to this lovely message. Consider the possibility of healthy boundaries without struggle. So when you side there, and I might sigh as well. So when I get these emails, I think, oh God, what am I going to do with this? There's struggle. In that sigh, for both of us, they're struggling. We're going, oh, I want to do this, but we're doing what I call the nice girl hand wringing.
Yes.
Which is, we want to be nice, but we know it's not right to be nice.
The thing is, if it's a dilemma, because if I don't do the development or refer them to someone who they can pay to do the development, I run the risk that they'll stop their campaign. It's like, for example, when someone wants to completely change their campaign and I really should charge them another setup fee. That's another reason. That's another thing that I wring my hands about, because I should charge another setup fee because it's doing all the work again from scratch with new creative stuff. But I don't, because I don't want them to stop their campaign.
Mm.
And
I think there's more wriggle room with ideal clients. Okay, so if the client is ideal in every other way, I'm more likely to cut a deal than I am with somebody who has messed me around a few times already. I'm not sure I can help them, is a bit unreliable and flaky, doesn't pay by standing order. Do you know what I mean? They're already people who break the rules 2 and 3 times over. And let's face it, entrepreneurs, self-employed, we're already rule breakers.
Yeah, rebels.
You know, so I do appreciate this. I'm one of those. I'm a rule breaker. You know, you're a rule breaker. You really don't like fitting into other people's rules, but you are good at setting rules, and I'm good at setting rules. Clearly, with neither of us particularly good at keeping.
No. The other thing is, you know, I'm a quick start, so I'm really finding that is a real liability in this, because I want to get these clients in. I want to get them set up. I mean, often we're setting them up before they've actually made their first payment. I've knocked that on the head. You know, I want to get them off to a flying start. I want to get as many clicks and leads for them in the first month as possible. Whereas
sorry, let me just ask you what that is. Is that a desire to? Are you trying to overperform?
I just see, we've got these terms and conditions that say that week 1 is where we do all the research. Week 2 is where we gather all the creative. Week 3 is when we set the campaign up and get approval by the client. You know, you're nearly up to the next payment by then.
Yeah.
But I like to give myself that time so that if, for example, I'm on holiday or, you know, I'm sick, there is, you know, plenty of time in that time frame, and clients are conditioned, you know, but then I can't help myself. I just want to get the campaigns up and running. So I'll sometimes even do it in a weekend, although the client doesn't know that, you know, just because I want to get the campaign up and running, then getting results. And I don't know. I mean, obviously,
so the end of this nice message is unyielding yet calm, strong yet kind. How can we be unyielding, calm, strong, and kind?
Well, I think you need to send this message to me so I can print it out and put it on my wall.
I've already got it on my desktop. I will send it to you, actually, because the reason why it resonated with me, because I knew it would resonate with you, and if it resonates with you and me, it resonates with our audience, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So, boundaries. Where else are they challenged? The other one I have is when a client doesn't sign up to pay my fees with the automated link.
Well, there you go, exactly right. Yeah, that's what one of mine was. She was fanning about unreliable with the payment, but we don't want to have that. We don't want that, do we?
No. So what should I have done there? You know, he paid by bank transfer.
How much?
Well, it was quite a significant amount of money.
Well, I think a bank transfer is all right, but what you're saying is you'll have to ask him for subsequent instalments, will you?
Yeah, and I'll run the risk that he won't pay on time, and that'll screw up my cash flow. So that's why I want people on automated payment.
Yes. And so what happened what did he say? How do you use automated payment? Is it credit card or what is it?
They can do it how they like. They can do it with a debit card or a credit card, and it'll come out of their bank or their.
And why did he want to pay online?
I don't know.
So, okay, let's role play it. Nicola, may I play online?
He didn't ask me. He didn't ask me. He just did it.
How did he get your bank details?
Because they're on the invoice.
So the invoice then is confusing, because if you don't want them to pay online, they shouldn't have your bank details. Surely, if they pay on your automated system, what is the process?
We can't put the link to the automated system on the invoice. We have to put it in the covering email that goes with the invoice.
So why are the bank details on the invoice at all?
Good point, Judith. If I took them off, you wouldn't have been able to do it.
No, there you go, Paula. There you go.
Right.
You see, we shoot ourselves in the foot. It's often not their fault, it's ours.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so remove bank details, making note to self.
But the job here is to be unyielding yet calm, strong yet kind. So it's to be able to say no, and for that to be all right for both parties.
Yeah.
So I often give them a reason why, which is,
it takes admin time to chase,
or it doesn't meet my needs. Or yes, I would have explained to him if he'd said to you, "Could I have your bank details so I can pay online?" And you say, "We prefer that you don't, and this is why."
Yeah. because otherwise we'd have to charge more because it would take more time to chase invoices.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that's me.
Does it meet my needs? Well, actually, it's not just you or me. It's everybody. Does it meet my needs? And why is it so difficult for us to ask for our needs to be met?
That's a fascinating question. That really is. It's obviously a self-worth issue, and we always said that wealth creation is all about your self-worth.
Well, you always did, yeah.
So somehow, obviously, we're still not feeling that we.
Well, in little corners, nooks and crannies, it catches us out, doesn't it?
Yes.
And it's usually where money is concerned, oddly, isn't it?
I know, it definitely presses a lot of hot buttons for most people, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's people not submitting to our system.
Yes.
Which we spent some time working out so that it is low maintenance, inexpensive, and embarrassment free.
Yes. And it's important, it's all about cash flow. And if one or two clients don't pay in the week they're supposed to, it screws your cash flow no matter how much money you've got.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
It does, yes, it does. And
we're talking about 500 quid or 1,000 quid or $2,000 at a time.
I think if a person could set it up by standing order instead, for instance, he hasn't done that, he's just done one payment. But if he could say, I prefer to pay online, would it be right if I set up a standing order? It might be. That gives him the power to cancel it. It makes it a little bit cheaper for you to receive it. I tell you what I think. Marion always used to say with the websites, that the people like this, not him actually, because he's paid you a decent chunk of cash, but the people who break our boundaries, they nudge you on Skype and they phone you on Skype without asking permission to do it in advance. They haven't got an appointment. They, I don't know, whatever it is they do. They do these annoying things, don't they?
I've got a good one.
Yeah.
This came from a conversation with someone the other day. They email you on a Friday afternoon and then they contact you on Tuesday morning complaining that they haven't heard from you.
Yeah.
Even though it was a weekend for two of those.
Yeah.
All those little niggles.
Yeah, and I think, yes, I don't know. I'm always in
educate. Yeah, but you have to keep educating, and you have to do it calmly, like you say, calmly but kindly. Educating.
It's interesting because it is possible to be, if you think in terms of yin and yang and that kind of stuff, it is possible to be unyielding, in a nice, calm way. Can I have this? No, you can't. Thanks for asking. Strong in your resolve, but kind. So you can express it in a kindly way. I don't have to go to defensive, do we? That's the point.
Well, defensive and emotional. That's even worse, isn't it? I might have to embroider this as one of those little things that you frame.
Oh, yes, that would be lovely. I will, while you're telling me about your word of the week, I will just send it to you now. And perhaps we could use it as the picture, could we, to go with this?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Is it nice? Is it nice looking?
It is very, well, it's nice-ish looking. It's somebody else's quote, which might be a problem, but there you go.
Did you like the picture for last week?
I did. I thought it was a double whammy, wasn't it? Because it's about comparisonitis with two gorgeous greyhounds, but it makes a secret allusion to our sports betting.
I know, but you don't see animals comparing themselves to each other, do you?
Well, no, that's a good point. Yeah.
I enjoyed that one. I enjoy picking the pictures enormously. My word of the week, Judith, is lazy. And I think entrepreneurs are an interesting breed because they are always looking for ways to improve inefficiencies, which means that your brain's always working, so you're not lazy intellectually, but you are always looking for ways to improve inefficiencies and do things easier, which means that somewhere in there is a laziness of kind.
I'm not sure I'm understanding you. I'm not sure I'm understanding whether you're saying it's a good thing or a bad thing as yet.
Well, I'm not sure if it is or not. I think all entrepreneurs are inherently lazy. They don't want to go and work from, you were talking about graft last week. They don't want to go and work from 9 till 5:30 in someone's office. They certainly don't want to go and work from 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening in someone else's office. So they must be inherently lazy, but they're also creative in finding ways to do things more efficiently, generally speaking, because they're lazy. But that laziness is a good thing. Because it drives. I
don't see it as laziness, actually. I think it's an intelligence. It's like, I think your brain's going, this can't be right. There has to be a better way.
And do you think that that's from intelligence, not a laziness then?
I I do really. I don't think of people. I'm interested in that. If you were offering up this ironically, I think it was rather good. I'm not sure I'm getting what you're saying yet, but I don't think of myself as lazy. I think if you're working on your own at home, you have to be smart, don't you?
Well, you have to be. Yeah, there's so many things you have to be if you're working on your own at home. But I definitely am lazy in that I look at the way that most people earn a living with horror.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think that's laziness, Nicola. I don't.
You don't.
I mean, I do think it. I mean, if all your choice was coal mining or the Dole, and you went on the Dole, I might think you were lazy. But actually, I think our brains are just not wired like that.
What, the entrepreneur's brains, you mean, or human brains?
Yeah, that's our brains. Yes, we're not wired to think that 40 hours a week for somebody else is an efficient way to earn a living.
Ah, yeah. So there we go. Entrepreneurs seek efficiency, don't they, in everything?
I think so. Well, ish. Yeah.
We'll work with good enough until we can find something better, and then we improve on it.
Yes.
What was your word of the week then?
It's no. Because following on from consider the possibility of healthy boundaries, no is a complete sentence is one of my very favourite expressions.
Oh, I find that really difficult.
I know, and I've written here in case you did, never apologise, never explain. I no idea where that famous expression comes from, but no is a complete sentence.
But we have a mutual friend who was the first person ever to practice that in real life and just say no. He sometimes followed it up with "I'd rather poke my own eyes out with a rusty bread knife" kind of comments. But I remember the actual physical shock I got when he first said no.
Yeah.
To something that I'm very used to getting my own way, Judith. You can imagine what a shock it was.
Yeah, but we usually have to go about getting our own way with, I think, women, my mother and my grandmother, not my mother so much in the later years, but in the early years of the marriage before she worked and had economic power within the marriage, and certainly my grandmother. I think women historically had to get their own way by nefarious purposes, didn't they?
Yes, blandishments and flattery.
Yes, and other tricks. But I think that, no is a complete sentence.
It's a very powerful word, isn't it, when you think about it?
Well, I think we should make a pact to practice with it a bit harder.
Well, all this next week, and then report back.
Until you're good at it. I think you've only got to use it when somebody asks you for something you don't want to give. So let me think of an example. Do you want to go and dig the garden?
No.
No. It's not a problem to say no to that, is it?
No, it isn't for some reason.
Okay, let me try a harder one.
Do you want to drive me and Nelson to Gatwick tomorrow?
No. If I lived nearby, I might say yes. So I drive London friends to Gatwick because A, I like driving. B, I quite like driving to Gatwick. Usually they pay me petrol money and buy me a cup of coffee on the way. It's quite a fun little outing. But if I didn't want to do it, that wouldn't be a problem. What sort of things? I know. Somebody at the moment is asking me to speak on their podcast, and I've put it in to do. I didn't really understand their podcast, or I didn't think I'd be a good fit for their podcast. So I've got to go back and look at the invitation and think, can I make this work for me? And if not, am I going to say no to her? I'm sufficiently busy at the moment that actually I should reject it out of hand because I haven't got time to read the email and work out how I'm going to make it work. But because I'm a nice girl and because she's a nice girl, I want to see if I can find a way to make it work. I think our mutual friend would probably say no.
I'm just remembering something I've said no to recently. My local chamber asked me if I would do a Facebook workshop for their members. And I remember that they've got limits on the numbers and I get half the money. So I said to them, what are you limiting it to this time? And they said 8. And I know that they do everything very affordably for their members. And I just had to say, no, it's just not worth it for me. Because it would take a whole morning out of my life.
A while back, somebody asked me if I would go and do a talk at their group in somewhere like Southampton.
Oh, God.
And she said, and what will you charge for that? Well, there's no way I, being an accountant, could say a sum of money because I don't regularly speak, so I don't have a rate card for speaking. I wanted to know how many people will come, what are they paying you? In order for me to work out, well, I could have said, well, I'll take 40% of the gate money after your costs or whatever. Anyway, to cut a long story short, that correspondence just frittered out because I think she thought I was asking her questions which were none of my business. But so that was another way of saying no, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to practice this. We're going to make notes of the things I say no to, and then we can discuss next week.
Well, you know that thing that Marion gets people to do, the pizza walk, where you go into a pizza shop and ask if you can have bananas on it or whatever it is. It's a variation of that, really, isn't it? When Christina was doing things where she was asking people for things. Do you remember that one? Asking people. You remember that test, asking for stuff?
I've been in situations where we've been forced to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same as that. It's just the other side of the coin, isn't it? So you always know if somebody asks you and you don't want to do it, straight away you feel that noise. You do that noise quite well. Whatever the noise is, it's like, straight away your body knows. Now, sometimes that's people's instant response to everything. It's often mine, actually. So sometimes I have to talk myself round to doing things that actually I do want to do and end up perfectly nicely. So the difficulty for me is I pretty much say no to everything.
You're a bit curious. No.
No, well, ish, actually. It depends on the context we're talking about. Personally, do you want to go and see the film about Amy Winehouse at the East Dulwich Picture House tonight? No. I'm over Amy. She died 4 years ago. Thanks very much. It's kind of, I wasn't in any doubt about that, and I was having a very busy day, and I didn't really have time to think about it, and I got confused about which Amy we're talking about. But, if I wish we could come up with some harder ones, actually, so that we could, because your body always knows straight away. So if you feel that feeling in your body, Nicola, you have to find a way to say no. That's the game, okay?
Yeah. And well, the bigger challenge is just saying no without justifying or explaining.
Yeah.
Because it sort of feels more gentle, doesn't it, to explain why no.
Yes. What does the message say? It says we have to be strong yet kind, though. So if you just say no, that's just strong.
Yes. So being kind is someone explaining why.
But don't over-explain. Don't over-explain. It might be that what we have to say is no, thank you.
Right. I'm going to become more mindful of this week.
Yeah. Or no. I really appreciate you asking, though. That's what I quite often say.
Yeah, that's quite good. That really softens it without explaining anything, doesn't it?
Yeah. But thanks for asking. I appreciate you for asking. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Lazy and no are our words of the week.
Project updates next.
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Well, I've written down here my biggest challenge and what's working. My biggest challenge is working with corporates and their techies, but that's not actually my biggest challenge. We've talked about my biggest challenges on the last couple of episodes. But my God, I cannot believe how techies hold corporates over a barrel. I've got one corporate client who I'm just trying to get an opt-in form out of because they're using a custom CRM instead of one of the things like Salesforce or Infusionsoft. And this techie just simply will not supply this bit of code. And this poor man...
Why not, Nicola?
Well, he's been asked to do it by me. He's been asked to do it by the marketing director, and he still hasn't done it. Another week has gone past with no bit of opt-in code. I've even supplied the opt-in code from my Infusionsoft so that he could see what it would need to look like and read the code. And it just hasn't happened. And I just am astonished at how techies within corporations just rule the roost. They really do.
Yeah.
So if you are a techie or you know a techie who works in the corporate world, can you get in touch and tell us what the issue is with this guy supplying this bit of code? It's ridiculous. And things move at an exceedingly the speed of a glacier.
Do you think he doesn't know what to do, or do you think he's unwilling to be cooperative?
I don't know. I can't work it out at all. I think he probably doesn't know what to do. That's probably the issue. And so what's working is still my Facebook ads are bringing in lovely consults. And it's ironic, actually, because, I've worked out that our ideal clients are more corporate, but then I'll end up having to work with their techies more often. So it's a
double-edged sword.
A conundrum, as they say.
Conundrum. I like a conundrum often.
What's your project update then?
It's about the nice little amounts of recurring referral income I'm making from my little bits on the side. I think perhaps £100 a month and climbing from one, and $130 a week and climbing from the other.
Oh, that's nice. That's the best kind of affiliate income is to make recurring affiliate income.
From things I'm doing and enjoying.
Mm.
So really, it's just from spreading the enthusiasm.
And you're in integrity there because you're actually doing the things as well.
Yeah.
That's nice, isn't it?
Very nice.
Who or what's impressed this week?
Well, do you remember Annie Kazina?
I don't. Of course I remember Annie Kazina.
Okay, so the thing that's impressed me this week, I learned from Annie Kazina, and it's related to everything we've discussed. People who ask for a discount because. Annie Kazina taught me that you should always ask for a discount because.
And that's interesting because she's such a ladylike person. I can't imagine her asking for a discount at all.
She's of the Jewish persuasion.
Oh, I see.
And they always ask for a discount because.
Yeah.
As does anybody of any persuasion who's good with money.
That's true, and years of bargaining and everything, and I always feel deeply uncomfortable with all of that.
Well, you see, there's the thing. She always used to say the thing to do is you ask for a discount because I'm a little old lady, because I'm a bit hard up this week or whatever.
Oh, I'm reminded now of some research where they said that if you go to the head of a queue at the photocopier and you say, "Can I use this next because I have to be, I've got a date to get to tonight," or whatever, it doesn't matter what you say after the big.
No, because maybe the important thing here is the because word, and maybe that will help us with the no word.
Yes, no, because.
Well, never apologise, never explain. Don't go into protracted negotiations. But yeah, that was what Annie was saying. Is if you give people a reason, they can consider the reason and they can still say no. But quite a lot of the time, a lot of people say yes.
Well, talking of Annie, isn't she doing well at the moment? She's got her new book out, which has got the longest title on the planet, which is "Some Women Choose Their Husband More Carefully Than Their Dog." And I remember thinking, God, that's an awfully long name for a book, and it's doing incredibly well. She's being on breakfast TV and all sorts of things, isn't she?
Some people choose their husband more carefully than their dog. Well, shouldn't you choose your husband more carefully than your dog?
No, I think it's the other way around then. Some people choose their dog more carefully than their husband.
Yes.
Annie's all about relationships, and particularly non-abusive relationships. And I'm delighted. She's plugged away for years. She's not techie at all, but she's forced herself to learn online marketing, and it's all starting to really pay off in a big way for her now.
Very cool. But you're piggybacking on mine. Who or what's impressed you?
I've been using a new bit of software, which, in spite of the fact it went horribly wrong at the weekend, and was pumping out content with no regard for anyone. I actually took the weekend off this weekend. I mean, from Saturday morning at lunchtime. I didn't work again until Monday.
No, I can always tell when you're off. I could see you weren't there. Well done.
Yeah, well done. Except it was the time when this new bit of software that I had to put all my. To auto tweet and share your old evergreen content. And it's so gorgeous inside. It was actually created by a girl who, for her own business, she got her husband to create it for her own needs. And it is one of the nicest things. And you can do things like you can put your RSS feed into it, and it will bring in all your blog posts back from the mists of time. And you can just click to delete the ones you don't want to be auto sharing. But for me, with our podcast, I put our podcast feed in there, and it automatically updates. So every time we put a new podcast in, it will update the feed within meetedgar.com.
So, darling, what's it called?
It's called meetedgar.com.
Okay.
Daft name, but it's
it's called that because Edgar. I know about Edgar. Edgar is a thing that does this, or is Edgar called meetedgar.com?
Yeah, Edgar is actually meetedgar.com.
Okay.
And it's just a really nicely designed bit of software, especially if you're a visual person. It's lovely. It's online, of course.
Just say in 2 words what it does. It's a content aggregator. What is it? What would you call it?
It's an auto scheduler, but it's an intelligent one.
Okay.
And it enables you to more often intelligently share your old content that's evergreen. Okay. But it's such a lovely piece of kit to use. I was really impressed with it, and it did go a bit bonkers at the weekend. That was entirely my fault. I didn't use the scheduling tool properly, so it was pumping out all my old blog posts over the weekend, and I do feel a bit embarrassed about that.
Well, I did see that, and I thought Nicola must have a new strategy I don't understand, was the thought that went through my mind.
Called overwhelming people at weekends. No, no, it was I completely screwed it up, so I am feeling a little embarrassed on the social media front this week, but never mind. Get over yourself, Nicola. Are we done?
On that jolly note, I think we are.
Oh, well done. So brilliant. See you same time, same place next week, Judith.
Okay, bye, darling.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. The podcast is called Own It, Your Business and Your Life. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.